Hello and welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, Dave. How's it going? Okay, so
Hey, Dave. Hey,
is it
Nines.
really a first stream without technical difficulties?
Right?
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so let's start this again, Crystal.
Okay,
Hi,
let's do
my
it.
name is Sydney. I am a mother of three boys. I love true crime, love spookiness, and so Crystal and I decided that we would take our love and do a show. you
Why
got
not?
you got clean bitch and sunny bitch, y'all.
Yes.
So Crystal,
So,
you want to talk about yourself a little bit?
yeah. Hey, guys. I'm Crystal. Um, I am a mom of two girls, and I love true crime, spooky stories, ghost stories, and I just love all things spooky. So, yeah, Sid and I decided we were going to start a show. And welcome into the first one, everybody.
Yes. Um, Mad Nines did help us out with our overlay, so thank you, Mad Nines. I love the overlay
Yes.
as well. So Crystal, if you want to go jump right into our first section, you can go right ahead.
Sure. So today, guys, we're talking about the Don CeSar. It's also known as the Pink Palace. This is actually one that's kind of near and dear to our hearts because it's local to us here in Florida. We everybody knows here about the Don CeSar and kind of the history about it. It's located on the shoreline of St. Petersburg, right off the Gulf of Mexico. It is considered part of the Tampa Bay area. It's really, it's as you can see from the picture, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's
Um,
huge.
it's gigantic.
Hello, Beardamus Prime. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you.
So,
The history behind the Don CeSar spans for over 100 years. It's filled with lost love, A-list guests, and, of course, ghosts.
ooh, spooky.
Spooky. Super spooky.
Oh, and with most ghost stories, this one begins with forbidden love.
So it started back in 1890. His name was Thomas Rowe. This all started in England. He just kind of, shit.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
So it did start back in 1890s in England with a young man named Thomas Rowe and Lucinda.
Lucinda, also known as
Lucinda.
Maritana.
Yes,
But
queen.
Thomas frequently visited the opera while attending school during this time. And one night he attended a play called Maritana, where he met Lucinda, who was absolutely just beautiful. And this
They,
is kind of where they got each other's nicknames.
yeah.
Um, because they met each other there, they fell in love, and it was pretty much love at first sight. So they ended up calling each other after the characters in the play that they attended.
Hence
So
Don CeSar.
Mhm.
And
Thomas was Don CeSar, and Lucinda was Maritana.
yes. So this caused concern for Lucinda's parents because of their religious differences. So they would secretly meet in a fountain in a courtyard.
Could you imagine having to just, God, secretly meet with the person you're in love with and have to keep everything a secret?
That that would be tremendously
Or horrible.
yes.
I couldn't even imagine.
So, because of these differences, Lucinda's parents moved her back to Spain. She was a Spanish, beautiful Spanish looking girl. But during that time, they also promised to write each other and find one another again eventually.
But Thomas didn't ever give up on Lucinda. He actually would write letters to her for years and years, but all the letters ended up being returned back to him.
This caused Thomas to make his way to the United States and eventually St. Petersburg, Florida. Near dear to our heart, Crystal.
Near and dear. But, because of his love for her, he ended up building this beautiful Don CeSar in the memory of his lost love. He actually built a fountain in the lobby of the courtyard. It was supposed to be identical to where they would secretly meet back in Europe.
Thomas learned of Lucinda's death due to a broken heart, along with a single letter addressed to him asking why he had never written her. So could you imagine sitting here writing all these letters to the love of your life? She's not even receiving them. And then you get a letter about her death and a single letter addressed to you asking why you never wrote.
Yeah, I would be devastated.
Yes.
I mean, it's horrible.
Oh, I would have been heartbroken as well.
Yes.
But we all really deep down inside really wish for a true love like this. Waiting for years.
I know, I wish for a true love like that, but not the lost part.
Yeah.
Not the lost part. Because,
No.
we don't want to lose that love.
So, it took nearly 2 years for the 277-roomed hotel to be built. So, locals soon dubbed it as the Pink Palace due to the color and palace-like features including turrets and towers.
If you guys haven't looked into this or you haven't been to Florida and seen it, it is absolutely gorgeous. It has sweeping.
I said it's beautiful.
Oh yes, it is gorgeous, and it's my favorite color, pink. It has sweeping arches and a castle-like design, so it's quickly become a getaway for the rich and the famous. People like Al Capone, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Franklin D. Roosevelt, those were some of the famous frequent guests.
Little side note, by the way, if nobody knows this, Al Capone actually built a house in Old Northeast downtown St. Petersburg. So
What?
Yes. So he was actually, local to us.
Wow, I didn't know
cool little
that.
fact.
That is a cool fact. I had no idea.
Yeah. During the Great Depression, many hotels and businesses went under and failed, but the Don CeSar still flourished due to the partnership with the New York Yankees during the spring season. So, what this means is that during spring season, where did the New York Yankees stay? They stayed at the Don CeSar.
Wow.
Crazy. Really think about things like this. You live here your whole life, and you really never put into consideration of the different historical factors and the people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is. Goodness gracious. So, Thomas eventually did marry. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, I have a little bit of a lag because I'm pulling it up just from the stream. But yeah, Thomas eventually married. Unfortunately, he did suffer a heart attack and died in the lobby of the hotel. Afterwards, the hotel was left to his wife, his estranged wife, and it quickly failed. She was not able to keep it running.
Super sad. I feel bad.
My cat is like trying to climb on my desk.
She's like, "What are you doing, Mom? What are you doing?"
Yeah. Well, I have my door closed and she like doesn't know what to do.
Oh goodness. So this allowed the Don CeSar to be bought in 1942 by the U.S. military, and it was converted into a military hospital for 2 years. That's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. And can you imagine the amount of just death that happened within those 2 years
Yep.
in this hotel?
Yes.
It's just that's probably where a lot of the ghost stuff comes from, is from it being a military hospital.
Yeah. Yep. That's very, very true. After it was converted into administration offices for the U.S. Army, so it really didn't stay a military hospital for too long, but still, 2 years with the amount of people that were going in and out of there due to, health issues or anything like that, I'm sure there's a lot going on in there.
And then in 1969, the Don CeSar was vacant again, and local residents spoke against plans to destroy the building. So they were talking about destroying the Don CeSar at that point in time, but the local residents really spoke out against it and kept it from being destroyed.
I would. If
I
they
would too.
yeah, if they tried destroying it today, which they won't. But if they
Yeah,
did, it's such a beautiful historical building.
it really is.
And there's not much on the beach like that. Everything is really, up to date and modern, but when you go down there, it still looks pretty much the same.
Yes.
So, in the early 1970s, it was built and repurchased and updated. So, that is what it looks like today. Look at those beautiful sunsets. That is our Florida sunsets for you.
Yep. We get them every day.
The renovations and additions soon made the Don CeSar once again a premier resort. So, a lot of people come and stay at the Don CeSar. Still to this day, a lot of, famous people stay there. It's still one of the premier resorts on St. Pete Beach here in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yep.
So, Crystal, what are we getting into next?
Ooh, so my favorite part, we're going to talk about the ghosts. Um, Unfortunately, we really did look to see if we could find any footage or photos that people had gotten of ghost sightings. And this one's kind of a mystery because we weren't able to find a whole lot of information when it came to, ghost sightings or ghost orbs or, people getting recordings or anything like that.
I think it has a lot to do with them not wanting a top line 5-star hotel down in, St. Pete Beach. That's pretty much one of a kind down there. I don't think that they want any of that on the internet. They don't want it to
Yes.
deter people away from coming and viewing
Yeah, they don't
this
want to scare people away.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But it is said that there is seen sometimes a gentleman in a white summer suit wearing a Panama hat was the first and most common ghost that's spotted. This is believed to be the Don CeSar's original owner, Thomas Rowe.
He is just still hanging out there.
Yep. He doesn't want to leave. That is his pride and joy.
Yes. So, staff and guests have reported seeing Thomas and Lucinda at the fountain and on the 5th floor where Thomas resided. Thomas also would greet hotel guests with a friendly smile and disappear when approached.
Could you imagine just seeing a guy standing there in that old attire and he just smiles and waves at you and then all of a sudden he turns around and just disappears?
That would be super creep. And I think that's another reason why people really haven't caught much. Because here they are. They think it's a normal, older male, just in the hotel. And
Yep.
they're not expecting anything to happen like that.
So strange sounds and knocking is heard. Doors will graciously open to assist staff that are carrying trays and luggage. All accounts that they have had have been friendly and helpful, thinking that it's Thomas Rowe that is helping the staff. So it seems like even in death, he still remains very dedicated to his hotel.
How amazing.
Right? Could you
It-
imagine that type of dedication? I'm going to come back after I die and I'm going to still work.
yeah. How miserable. but
Right?
but he loved his hotel so much that I believe that this is true. This was his
Yeah.
life. After Lucinda passed, he found that out, it that's all he had to live for was his hotel. And granted,
Mhm.
he remarried, so he did have love for his wife. I don't doubt that. But there's
Right.
always that love that you have for your first love.
Yep. So true. That is so true.
So there has been many occurrences throughout the years with both staff and guests reporting seeing apparitions, hearing eerie noises, or having odd sensations. Some of these activities is put down to the time where the building was used for the VA hospital during the 1940s. And it could be restless spirits of the patients that can sometimes be seen or felt. Just like Thomas, there has been no reports of these spirits harming or scaring any guests. And honestly, a lot of people think that the reason why is because Thomas Rowe is likely keeping the hotel safe during death.
Yep.
So, what an amazing man. Wouldn't it be
Really.
cool to meet him?
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. I know that when I was growing up, my mom and I would go to um, St. Pete Beach and we would pool hop.
Same.
So what we would do is we would go to like because on the beach on these hotels they all have like little cabanas or little bars, like little bar and grills, and you don't actually have to be a guest at that hotel to go to this bar and grill. So what we would do is we would go and we would order some food, get a drink, and then we would kind of go down to the beach that was behind this hotel, hang out there, and then we would end up going and sneaking into their pool like we were one of the guests. And then we'd get tired of that one and we'd move to the next one. And we'd just keep kind of going down. We'd go to maybe 3 or 4 different pools that day, and it was so much fun.
Yes. So growing
But
up, I did the same thing, but in high school with friends. And it
Oh,
was
nice.
late night.
Very late night.
It was late night.
A lot of fun.
Yes,
But
yes.
I'm assuming now you can get in more trouble for doing it
Yes.
than when we were kids.
Most definitely.
Because before they'd just be like, "Hey, if you're not a guest here, you have to leave," and they would just tell you to leave. But now they'd be calling the cops and getting you in trouble. And
Trespassing.
yep.
My parents actually had their wedding venue, or this was their wedding venue. They have pictures of them all around the
Wow.
hotel because it's such a beautiful, beautiful hotel. And it's so elegant.
It really is.
But I guess we have come to our conclusion, and I do want to say this one was very short. And the reason
Yes.
for that is because we wanted to start off our very first podcast with something simple, something that we could kind of get into the groove of doing this. And I don't know. How do you feel, Crystal? I think it was fun.
I feel good. I feel good. So it was different, because we're used to just getting on, playing a game, kind of BSing our way through it and talking to Chad and actually having a set thing that we're talking about is definitely a little bit different.
Yes.
So this has been really good for our first time, I think.
I believe you are absolutely correct.
So
If you want to go ahead and we can conclude this, and maybe if anyone has any questions or if we just want to chat a little bit, we can do that
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Sure. So Mr. Rowe enjoyed watching the daily operations of his hotel that he built, and even in death, it seems like he does the same by welcoming guests and assisting staff. If guests are lucky, they will spot Thomas and Lucinda, hand in hand, standing in the courtyard, spending eternity together at the Don CeSar.
That's absolutely nuts. She didn't
Right?
even pass here. She passed in Spain, yet they're
Yeah.
still seen together after
Yep.
death.
So
It makes me want to
they are
cry.
together in death. It's so sweet.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, this kind of opens it up for a little bit. If anyone has any questions, any concerns, if you even, even if it doesn't have to do with the Don CeSar, if you guys want to, tell us what you would like to see next, we can
Oh
kind of go
yeah, for sure.
over.
We are
Um,
open to suggestions.
yes, and we can kind of go over what we are going to be doing on our next podcast. So,
The
what
next
we,
one's gonna be fun.
yes. So, what we're going to be doing in our podcast is kind of going back and forth with a couple different things. So, one week we'll do a paranormal podcast. The next week, maybe we'll do a true crime podcast. The week after that, we may end up doing, like a dark tale, like what's going on, what happened with behind the scenes of the Wizard of Oz, or things like that. Stuff that
Or
really
even
interests us.
or even maybe a spooky abandoned places,
Yes.
you
We
know?
love some abandoned places.
Oh yeah.
What we would like to do eventually as this grows, we would love to do these paranormal podcasts, possibly at the places that we talk about. So maybe we can find some local to, Florida in our area that we can also do, as well as, of course, all over the world.
Yes.
But
When we have the funds, we are actually planning on possibly staying the night at the Don CeSar. And maybe doing a part two where we actually do some investigating on our own and see if we can get some spooky photos.
I highly doubt that we will, because the way that, Thomas Rowe is, I feel like he isn't about that spooky life.
No. But I'm determined. Like I want to get an EMF reader. I want to get a spirit box. I want to get a good camera to take photos. Like
Yes.
I want to go on full on do a ghost investigation.
Yes. And will we be able to do that on other different locations? I think that would be fun.
It would be so much fun. I may pee my pants, but but
And
I really that's like my dream.
yes.
I want to do paranormal investigations. I've always loved it.
Yes.
Like I always watched during like Halloween time growing up, it was Scariest Places on Earth
Yes. I
where
remember
they
that
went
show.
into the paranormal investigations and
Yep.
everything, and it would scare the crap out of me. I was a little kid.
Yes.
But I would sit there and just religiously watch it every single week.
Also, do you remember when they did the haunted castles where they would send a group of random people into these castles
Yes.
and get the shit scared out of them?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh my
goodness.
goodness. Sorry, guys. If we happen to say the same thing at the same time, we're kind of like the same person. So we happen to do that a lot.
We're twins. We're twin bitches.
Twin bitch. And
So,
yes, Dave, that would be dope.
and you know what would be fun is we could come up with some sort of meet and greet eventually later on down the road where we have people that, uh, twin bitches, exactly,
Twin
Dave.
bitch.
We could all kind of like come together and do something like this as a team. We could, with our fans,
Yeah, that
our
would be so much
followers.
fun. Oh yeah.
Most
And
definitely.
also, guys, soon we're going to be setting up an email for you guys to send us some of your testimonials about Um, you're basically, like I said, your testimonials of the things, spooky things that have happened to you, spooky stories that we can share on stream.
Maybe it doesn't even have to necessarily be a spooky tale that happened to you directly. Maybe you want to give us an old tale of the area that you live in. There are
Yeah.
so many different cities and towns out there that have their own little, you know, tall tales and stuff like that. And you can go ahead and send in your testimony, and what we'll do is we'll read it on stream with, you know, a few other ones. Get you guys involved into it as well.
Oh yeah.
But
Because we don't want to just sit here and drone on and on and on about different things. We want to hear from you guys.
yes,
And we want to hear your experiences and maybe even some spooky stories, and we want to hear about what you guys have gone through, because I mean I have a few spooky stories myself,
oh yeah, I think
but
everyone does.
yes, but everyone's are so different. Like the one
Mm-hmm.
you were telling me about the other night said, I like literally the whole time you were telling me about it, I just had freaking goosebumps.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine." But I almost live for that feeling.
Yes,
That almost little bit of adrenaline rush that you get when you get spooked.
most definitely.
I mean, that's why we play Faz.
We play those spoopy.
Spooky.
I can't talk.
Okay.
um, So before we like head out and everything, what I would like to do is see if any open it up for any questions or anything like that. Anything that you would like to us to talk about. Suggestions for sure. Give us your suggestions on what type of podcast you would like to listen to. Give us your feedback. Also, our next podcast is going to be called it's going to be a true crime podcast, and it's
Hmm.
going to be Lady of the Dunes. So little insight on this is you know a lady in Providencetown, Massachusetts, ended up showing up on a beach, pretty much decomposing, and it looked like she was on the beach just sunbathing. So, and they
My
still to this
goodness.
day have no idea who did it, have no idea who she is. And there is little tidbits and little, ooh, this could happen. But they also think that they may have had this girl, a picture of this girl, in a movie that we all know of. So stay tuned for the next show, because you're going to want to hear and listen to this story. It's crazy. But anyways,
So what's up, guys? Do you want to hear more do you about true crime or spooky stories, ghost stories? What do you guys want to see us do? See us cover?
we have a long list already, so it may even already be on our show idea list.
Yeah, we do have quite a few things already set up in the works.
We can kind of go over that a little bit, Crystal, if you'd like. We can just
Yeah,
kind of give them little ideas of what we've thought of.
yeah.
Maybe
Let me just get it
see
pulled
if
up
it's
here.
some good ones that they can think of. And I do want to shout out Mad Nines, Abra.
Oh, of course. I got
He
it.
definitely gave us some really good ideas and suggestions on different ones that we could do.
Do we have a shout out set up?
Nope, not yet.
Well, we
Go
did shout
ahead.
you out, buddy. I
Listen,
promise.
we'll have all that set up. This was just something that we were trying our hardest to pull together fairly quickly, because we wanted to rip that Band-Aid off.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing. And Tommy kept telling me that. He's like, y'all just need to rip the Band-Aid off and just do it.
Yes. So,
So we finally did it.
yes, we did. So, Crystal, do you want to kind of discuss some of the crime, show ideas that we have?
Sure. So we have Holly Dunn, the railroad killer, Lady of the Dunes, which is what we're going to be covering next week. I think that's all we have for
the
the
crime
moment.
ideas now. I mean,
For the crime.
what we're not okay. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to do what everyone else does. We don't want to have like, oh, the Ted Bundy and go on, a long time about that. I would love to cover the Ted Bundy cases like on here, but I don't want it to be all mainstream. I want us to find things that aren't as mainstream. As not
Like the one
heard
you
of.
sent me the other day. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
So some of the horror ghost stories that we would like to go over is there's a place called the Doll Island.
yes,
Have you heard about that, Crystal?
I have. I have. I've watched multiple different videos and little documentaries about Doll Island.
And it's creepy.
It is super creepy, but I think they're actually selling it. Um, I think they're selling the property and it's not going to be there anymore.
Which is sad because
It is super sad, but it's super creepy too. So maybe it's a good thing that it's not going to be there anymore.
Yes. Something else that I would really, really like to go over, and granted, this is kind of, one of those mainstream, everyone heard about it, is the Ed and Lorraine Warren series. So they have so many different encounters that happened during their time of their paranormal and exorcism days. I would like to kind of go over maybe a few different episodes. Maybe we can make a little tiny series off of it, because I think everyone loves the Conjuring universe.
Everyone loves the movies. I don't know anybody that doesn't like at least one of the Conjuring movies.
I have them all. I bought them all.
Did you?
Yes, I have the Annabelle series, which is another one that I would love to go over, Annabelle. But there's other things as well that we have on here that is really not, talked about. Nines gave us the idea of the Ridges. It's a mental asylum up from where he's from. He actually has gone there personally. So I think that would be really cool to kind of touch base. The Stanley Hotel. Do you know what the Stanley Hotel is based off of, Crystal?
Yes. It's based off The Shining, which I actually just recently watched the new Shining movie. What was it called?
Dr.
Sleep?
Yes, Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. Oh my God, it was so good.
It was.
Yes. So we definitely want to do the Stanley Hotel at some point. If, maybe one day we'll be made of money and we can just go take a trip there and actually do it ourselves.
Oh my gosh, yes. Queen.
Right? How cool would that be?
Yes. So another one that we want to do, and this of course has been something that has really, really picked up over the last few years, is the Hotel Cecil. Have you heard of the Hotel Cecil, Crystal?
I have not. I'm gonna have to go and do some research on that one actually.
Oh Lord. So the Hotel Cecil, let me do a little, I don't want to give up too much, but it is a hotel that is like smack dab in the middle of Skid Row in Los Angeles, California. The hotel is very, very old, so it's considered a historical place. They cannot tear it down. It's going to be standing. There has been a lot of serial killers that have stayed there. There has also been a lot of deaths that have happened in the hotel. And as just recently as 2018, I believe, or 2019, Lisa Rowe. So I don't want to get too much into it, but we were going to definitely cover Hotel Cecil, and we have a lot of different, things to back it.
Ooh, awesome.
But of course, on our list of things is your personal encounters slash testimonials. That's one of the biggest things that we want to get you involved. So
Yes.
when we have these stories, yes, it's one thing hearing it and learning about it from us, but it's another thing hearing you teach us some things. And
Yes.
what we would do